This is VSiN, the sports betting network.
Follow the money. That's what I always say. You always follow the money.
Yeah.
This is Follow the Money with Mitch Moss and Paulie Howard on VSiN.
Here we go. Welcome in. Follow the Money on VSiN, the sports betting network. Mitch Moss along with Dustin Swedelson. Paulie is out this week on vacation, and we are loaded to the gills over the next 3 hours. Bottom of this hour, Brooks Austin on the program, college football film guy. We'll talk some college football with him at that point. Adam Chernoff makes his return to the program. Longtime friend of the show, NFL bettor, handicapper with some futures that he likes coming up in an hour. Greg Peterson on baseball bets for tonight in 90 minutes. And Paul Stone will preview the Big Ten with his best bets as media days continue in that superb conference. How you doing today?
I'm just ready to find out how baseball breaks my heart today. I put something out on social. It seemed to pick up some traction at Dustin Swedelson about you just can't get anything right. And it feels like the entire country, everyone who's betting has replied basically. The last 2 or 3 weeks have been so brutal. Baseball was fun for a while. I think we've reached the point where it's time to focus on the NFL futures.
Yeah, last night was frustrating when the results do not go your way. With this being such a marathon, you kind of want to take a day off once in a while. Rather than press, like when you're winning, you're like, oh, yeah. I'm feeling good. I'm seeing the board now exactly how I thought it was going to break. And, you know, you get some unlucky breaks like the Cubs game last night. They could not get a single run off May somehow. And then they get that all-time bat flip from PCA. He turns into even money or minus 105 to win the MVP, and then they give it up in the bottom half. You were on Schlittler in the how did they lose the game?
Dude, I'm blown away at this stat. This feels almost impossible. The New York Yankees are 1-7 in extra inning games. Like, you start with the runner on base. You have an opportunity if you're the road team to get a bunt down, score that first run. You're the home team. You have a chance to shut them out in the first inning. The odds would tell you it's probably closer to 50-50.
It's a coin flip.
And the Yankees are 1-7 in extra inning games. That is why that they are very much in the discussions for Mason Miller.
Yeah, right. So we will get into that, by the way. It's getting juicy. Now, for those who don't know, the trading deadline this year has been pushed back. Typically, it's on July 31st. Not this year. They pushed it back to August 3rd. So we have beyond tomorrow for these trades to actually take place. By the way, Yankees, White Sox right now, top of 7. No score in this game as well. And it looks like, is it Chisholm?
Well, yeah, and I'm on the White Sox. So if you want to get money down on the Yankees, I would suggest it's just based on the way things are going right now.
Right. So earlier this morning, have you been paying attention to the prediction market? And now DraftKings posted as well, like Scooble's next team odds.
Yes.
Earlier today, we're talking about 3 hours ago, maybe 4 hours ago, on Kelce, the Dodgers were at 47% to get Tarek Skubal, like his next team. They have multiple markets up at Kelce for Tarek Skubal, but make sure that you look for the next team, and it specifically says next team before August 5th, 2026. They're down to 36% as we speak. The Brewers are up to 26%.
Remember, the Brewers made a move during our show yesterday. They went up, 8% yesterday?
That is right.
So we're probably looking at about a 13% move on them going back about 24 hours or so.
Yeah, now this is no LeBron James market because at Kelce, they had more than $200 million of volume in that market. Right now for the Skubal next team, it's about $150,000. So you can still get down a decent bet if you want to get involved with this. You can also take the no on it if you don't think like, well, if you bet the no on the Dodgers earlier today, you're sitting on a pretty nice number compared to where it's at right now. But now all the rumors are starting, and we're going to play you some audio here coming up. First of all, Jim Bowden tweeted this out earlier today. Andrew Friedman from the Dodgers, president in baseball operations, basically we're all in on Skubal. He said, quote, there just aren't that many star-level players in the game, and anytime one is available, we're always going to participate in those conversations. So they're down from 47 to 36%, but it would surprise nobody if the Dodgers ended up with this guy.
No. That's what they do. They're the rare big market team that still focuses on scouting and player development, where they have the pieces to make this happen. Also, their young players get called up and they perform at least good enough to be moved in a deal like this. We're talking about Emmett Sheehan, Robleski as one of the pieces of this deal to go with maybe one or two other players that one might be ready now, one might be ready in a year or two, but either way, they have everything that every team is looking for when it comes to making a deal.
Sure. The Brewers also, their farm system is absolutely loaded.
Always.
And their young, no question. Like every year it seems like that, right? And their young players also, when they get called up, they perform. So they have a lot to offer, and it evidently would take a lot, obviously, to get him specifically from Milwaukee's side. Earlier today, this is former MLB GM Steve Phillips suggesting exactly what it might take. We'll get this coming up in a second here, but he was kicking around what it would take for the Brewers to actually land Tarek Skubal in a trade.
They're going to have to give up Jesus Mate, the top prospect in their organization, to get him. And they're likely going to have to give up Luis Lara as well. Luis Lara, who's in the big leagues right now, who's got great plate discipline at the minor league level, has been a really nice producer and off to a decent start in his big league career. I think those two are going to have to lead the way in the deal, and it may include Luis Pena as part of that, too. I think they'll get away with not putting Cooper Pratt in since he's on the major league roster. That I know they don't want to give up a starter in the big leagues, but Lara is up there, but I think they can afford to give him in the deal. And so I think it's going to be a monster trade that they're going to have to give up major league ready talent return, but they're also going to want some pitching. And now whether that is Aaron Ashby is some part of that too, but I think that Ashby could be something. If I'm the Tigers, I want Ashby coming back in the deal because I know he's that long reliever getting all the wins, but I think he's a potential starter, and he would be part of that package too, bringing back a major league ready pitcher in return.
That's Steve Phillips, MLB Network Radio earlier today. That is a massive haul, and the Brewers obviously would not be the favorite to re-sign Skubal in the offseason. So this is basically, right? I mean, it would be, well, who knows if we're going to have baseball next year.
Yeah. Real quick, my face is confused. The Royals were just about to beat the Twins 3-0. I'm sorry to interrupt. The Twins just hit a walk-off grand slam. They were down 3-0 in the ninth inning.
Oh, my God.
Cody Clemens just hit a grand slam to walk it off.
So I don't know what they were live to actually come back and win. The Royals bullpen has been a mess the entire year.
I literally just looked at the odds screen as we were sitting in the chairs. And I was like, oh, this game's over. Right. Kansas City's going to get the win 3-0. I didn't even notice because it was ninth inning, and I think there was one out maybe when I looked at it. They just hit a grand slam to walk him
Crazy. Out. Clemens, by the way, quietly putting together a nice year.
Another guy I thought was all nepotism. He's actually
he's pretty good.
He can hit.
He is pretty good. Would you give up that many players if you're Milwaukee?
Okay, I would. Here's why. If you win a ring, everything's justified.
1,000%.
It doesn't matter. You're looking for this one run, this one opportunity. Think about the Knicks this past year. They would have given everything up for that ring, and they wound up winning it. Okay, you have to look at it as, if I make this move, does it make me so much better than everyone else? Or at least, am I on the Dodgers level finally? Because that is the ghost that the Brewers are chasing. And as a small market team with an organization like the Dodgers that just have pockets that never end with the money just flowing in all the time, you're going to have to do things that you conventionally wouldn't do. You can't just run it back and say, we believe in our guys. I think you have to do this to put you over the top because Mizorowski into Skubal. There's also the idea of Mason Miller out there. These two prospects are awesome. Steve Phillips mentioned the clip on MLB Radio. Lara's already in the majors. He brings everything to the table. He stole 40 bases last year in single A. And then you have the other kid. I'm sorry, that was Mate.
Mate, yeah.
Yeah. And then Lara.
He's their number one prospect.
Lara this year in AAA stole 24 bases in 78 games and 9 home runs, hit 321. I think throwing in Ashby feels like a lot, but you know what? If that's what it takes to get the best pitcher in baseball, you do it.
I do this with Milwaukee. I don't even hesitate. And here's the reason why.
And you know them, and you know the fan base.
I would actually like them to get bumped up so I can bet the no. I don't think they will do this trade.
You don't.
However, there is a history. I'll take you back, and here's why I would do it, even if they can't keep Skubal in the offseason. I'll take you back to 2008. They thought they were close, and they were. Rumors around the deadline were out there that the Brewers could land CC Sabathia, who's putting together a great season. I remember talking about, I can't believe it's been 18 years, by the way, but I was up in the air with that one because the Brewers had to give up their number one prospect at the time by the name of Matt Laporta. I thought Matt Laporta was going to turn out to be like a perennial all-star.
No, I thought he was 35 homers a year.
That's exactly what I was just going to say. And like 100 RBIs. So they gave up Matt Laporta, Zach Jackson, Rob Bryson, and Michael Brantley. Michael Brantley is the only player any of you have ever heard of, unless you're related to one of these guys.
Okay, and let me add to this. There's rumors about the Orioles, what they might do. Don't be the Orioles. Just sit on your prospects forever, where you have redundancies on the roster, and you go, no, we're saving for the future. That is a great thing to sell a fan base, that hope is coming. At some point, you have to deliver, or they're going to turn on you. That's why you just don't stockpile and say we just have prospects forever. These guys very rarely pan out. And by the way, I think they have a less of a chance of panning out if they're not playing for the Brewers organization.
Oh, well said. Well said. And they've never won a World Series.
This is your chance. This is your window.
This is exactly right. And oh, by the way, Sabathia that year, was it worth it? Well, they never won the World Series. However, he was in the mix. He played half the season in the National League because he came over from the American League. He was 11-2 with a 1.65 ERA. He made 17 starts, 7 complete games, 3 shutouts. He went on short rest multiple times.
Yep.
And he carried them into the postseason. He almost pulled off the Cy Young in a half a year. So, no, they never won the World Series, but that was absolutely worth it. And those players obviously never panned out. I would make this move, but I don't think they're going to.
I hope they do. I hope they're aggressive. I mean, I don't think it's going to be the package that Phillips said. That's a crazy for a rental.
Yeah, I know.
When the Dodgers are offering Sheehan or Robleski and maybe one other piece?
No kidding.
You don't need to give up both of these guys, plus Ashby in the bullpen.
That's too much, but would they do it to make sure he doesn't go to the Dodgers?
I'll tell you this, though. If they get Skubal, and now he'll impact everyone's odds. They get Skubal, to me, they're not far off from the Dodgers.
Oh, no, they're right there with them.
And I actually think that the Brewers, with the athleticism, with the contact, with a team that doesn't just go for it all with the home, doesn't rely on the home run, I actually think they might be better built for October than the Dodgers might be, which is kind of a crazy thing to say.
Look, as somebody who grew up going to the old county stadium every summer, my dad would take us. So I've watched this team, obviously rooted for them as a young kid. This would be the first time in ages where I would say, I think it's real. I think this is actually maybe Milwaukee's year. I didn't buy in last year.
Do it. Pull the trigger.
Up next, historical numbers with rookie quarterbacks and NFL teams with the widest range of outcomes this upcoming football season.
So you're listening to this podcast because you want an edge. But what if I told you you're only halfway there? You've got the mindset. Now it's time to get the toolkit to match. Here's the thing. Pro bettors spend thousands on data and tools, but what they don't want you to know is you can get the same edge for a fraction of the cost with VSiN Pro. With VSiN Pro, you get access to expert picks, public betting data, prop projections, powerful tools, analytics, and more. Tap the link in the description and see why thousands of bettors are already using VSiN Pro to cash more bets.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We'll dive into NFL coming up here, but to put a bow on the whole baseball conversation, previous segment, I'm gonna say something about PCA, by the way, here in a few minutes. That it's gonna get your attention. He's 2 for 4 today, with 2 doubles. Hit that home run last night. How good was that bat flip?
Oh, it was beautiful. Also, I don't understand the market though. I don't understand how he can hit the home run, which still helps his MVP case in my eyes.
Sure.
But then his team blows the lead, which he's not involved in, and he's no longer the favorite for MVP.
Did he get favored after the home run?
Maybe not favored. He was
minus money.
He was laying a price.
Yeah. So, but he's around plus 110 still, closer to even money at this point. But here's one more, soundbite. Jeff Passan has been very active, obviously, this week on ESPN, talking about the trading deadline, the looming deadline, again on August 3rd. He is pretty convinced that the Tigers are going to deal Tarik Skubal.
Yeah, Tarik Skubal is going to be traded. The Tigers haven't gone to teams that are interested in him and said as much at this point, but the expectation is that's going to happen within the next day or two. And frankly, everyone has been expecting it when you see how the Tigers have played recently, and certainly their game Wednesday was a perfect encapsulation of their season. They understood that they needed to go on a really big run in order to have Tarik Skubal stick around, and they didn't do it. They're taking a healthy view of this. They understand that they have a lot of engaged teams right now. Teams that, in particular, are being cited by others as being the biggest threats, though, the Milwaukee Brewers, who have a tremendous farm system, and, of course, Phil, the Los Angeles Dodgers, who are the favorites at this point and, frankly, have been since the possibility of Tarik Skubal getting traded first surfaced a couple of months ago.
Well, he started that soundbite by saying he is getting traded. He's absolutely convinced. The Dodgers are down to 35% right now, Kelshi. Here's the thing. You could also lay a price if you want with Detroit on the no.
For sure.
It's a huge favorite, but if he's convinced and everybody else is convinced it's going to happen, then, you kind of have that information, don't we?
Oh, they should riot in the streets of Detroit if they don't trade him.
Yeah.
I mean, you're setting the franchise back 10 years at the very least. This is an opportunity to maybe take a year off, but the assumption would be it's a gap year, maybe 2 years, depending on what you get back. Maybe you get someone who fills the void. The thing about that Brewers deal that Phillips was throwing out there that we played last segment that fascinated me was if you get Ashby and you convert him back to a starter, we'll see. That's worked for some guys lately. Clay Holmes is on the market.
Yeah, true.
He went back to being a starter. Michael King went from the Yankees to the Padres, became a starter. It is certainly Griffin Jacks with the Rays. It is a thing that we're seeing now in baseball. What if Ashby can be a solid number 2 for you? And you have Framber already there. There may not be a real big drop-off in a division that's up in the air every single season.
Sure. The no right now on Kelce for Detroit, meaning that he is not going to remain with the team. And again, this goes like his next team as of August 5th, 2026. It's 93 cents right now on the no. Meaning, if I plugged in $100, you would win $7, and you could obviously put in whatever number you want. $1,000 would pay the same. You'd win $70 on a $1,000 bet.
I mean, I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze.
That probably I wouldn't go that high on it, but would you want to like lock in like $50?
Yeah, I don't hate it. Pays for bets, right?
$30, whatever.
Here.
I mean,
yeah, pays for a bet here or there. Pays for a parlay. I don't see it. If he is a Detroit Tiger, when the deadline comes and goes and he doesn't have an extension...
I'll make a bold statement here.
Fire everyone. Fire everyone in the front office. They're incompetent. You have to start over because you have stupid people in charge of your team. Don't let nostalgia get in the way of the fact that your job as the GM is to put out a winner more times than not, to stay employed and hopefully get a World Series down the road. Trading Tarek Skubal right now is the only chance you have that if you're in that front office.
I thought you were going to do something more creative, like I'll shave my head if they keep him.
No, because I have a wedding coming up in April.
That's a long time away.
No, the last time I threatened with this was Purdue. And I said if they make the Final Four, I'll shave my head. We got a little bit closer than I wanted to.
Yeah. Well, here, I'll make a statement about PCA. And I've done this before on the air. I don't think any ticket has ever won where I've said something like this. But if PCA wins the National League MVP this year, I will take the entire Follow the Money crew. It's their choice. So dinner is on me at Barry's here at Circa.
Oh, we're going first class.
Oh, hold on. That's one of 3 options that I will give the entire crew if PCA wins. I have them at 80-1. It's either Barry's one night for dinner. I'll get a cabana for everybody at Stadium Swim one day. Or up to them, their future bet of choice I will put in for them.
Oh, it's that good.
Which I did that actually once before when I won the Florida ticket on the blackjack tournament here. I put in a future ticket for them, and I asked them what they wanted to do. They came to the conclusion that St. John's to win the national title in college basketball was the bet that they wanted. And they were a 2 seed, and they got upset by Arkansas in the second round. But it's up to them. If he wins, we will know in the middle of November.
You've hit some pretty big bombs since I've known you. Where would this one rank? Because there was one when I first started working with you as your producer, where you had to get someone with a duffel bag at the border in Canada to fly over or something like that. There was a big boy.
Oh, that was
home run leader.
That was a 2021 baseball season.
You had Robbie Ray 250-1 or something like that. Something crazy.
I had that ticket that you're talking about was Bryce Harper 66-1 MVP.
But you also had Robbie Ray at a huge number. Yeah. You had Salvador Perez home run leader at 200-1. You had Vlad Guerrero Jr. home run, and they tied.
And
so
I split those bets.
Both.
And I had Matt Vasgersian gave out who's the guy who pitched for the Brewers? I'm blanking on his name right now. Corbin Burns. Yep. He won the Cy Young that year. That was a good year.
That was 1 year?
But that was, the Blake Snell ticket was my biggest one ever at 150-1.
I had that one. I had 150-1.
It's not like that every year, though, Dustin.
Well, no, this year I'm getting killed.
2021 was, it'll be my best year of all time, and I said it'll never be. 2022 was a disaster for me.
Yeah.
So, I mean, that's the way it goes, right?
Especially at the big numbers.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
you're not going to be right all the time. The goal is to be, right a couple times, and it pays for all those mistakes.
That's exactly right, yeah. So that's that with PCA. They can decide. Again, there's a lot of baseball left, and he has to get there, and that'd be a good one. Little NFL here. Your team with the widest range of outcomes this year would be who?
Ooh. See, to me, I might go back to the well with my Chicago Bears pick from a year ago.
I was pondering them.
Because the thing that jumps off the page to me is the assumption that everything's just going to build off of last year, as if now there isn't film out there where people go, hang on, this team was awesome, But now you have defensive coordinators spending an entire offseason trying to figure them out. The one caveat I'd say is that Ben Johnson is such a mad scientist, he might be thinking what they're thinking and adjusting to how they're thinking to his game plan. But my team with the widest range of outcomes would be the Houston Texans. I think the Houston Texans could potentially play for the Super Bowl. I think there's a chance they're last place in that division. Like I know a lot of people are really high on Tennessee this year. And I think Tennessee, game in and game out, is going to be really difficult to bet against because they're going to show some fight. They're going to have some fire. They have a little bit more on offense this season. And that's why I think Houston could be susceptible, because what does Robert Saleh do best? It's on the line. Where does Houston have an issue? It's on the offensive line.
Yep.
They have not addressed this offensive line. Everything else is there. They have running backs I like. They have a deep receiving core that I really like. The quarterback, TBD on what CJ Stroud actually is. But part of me says I want to bet Houston win the AFC. Part of me says I want to bet them to go over their win total. And then there's this other part that's creeping in. CJ Stroud has a turnover issue. CJ Stroud has not had protection in 3 seasons when he drops back to pass. How do they overcome that? And are the pieces on offense good enough to overcome that? That's why I think this team could win 5 or 6 games. This team could be playing for the Super Bowl.
It's a good candidate for sure. By the way, I think we can all agree on this. We have no idea if C.J. Stroud can actually play the position of quarterback.
I have no idea.
I have no idea. I honestly.
If you would have told me after that rookie year that this is the guy we were seeing, never would have believed that.
I would have said you're out. Drug test him right now.
He was better year 1 in Houston than he was his last year at Ohio State.
Oh, not even close.
It's crazy.
He was unbelievable as a rookie quarterback. And he just hit. I can't get that game against New England out of my head how bad he was. And they would not put him out of I think they win the game if they go to Davis Mills. I'm sticking in the same state, by the way. It's, to me, you could probably say this every year. It's the Cowboys.
No, the Cowboys.
There is so much to like about this team this year, and I'm not going to get nuts and tell you a Super Bowl team, but I could see them maybe playing in the NFC title game for the first time in a generation. But there's something in the water with this organization, and I think that obviously stems with the person who owns them. I wouldn't be stunned if they win 7-8 games again this year.
100%.
But they have so much talent on this team. They should be in the mix to come out of the NFC this year, or to go in a deep run, I should say, in the playoffs anyway.
It's there. Look, they miss Parsons, but I think it's kind of like Moneyball. Like we're gonna what's the word that he uses where he puts the 3 guys together? I can't remember the word, but they've done a good job of filling so many other voids on the defense. Downs in the secondary,
terrific pick.
Linebackers, defensive linemen. They're going to be so much more respectable. In the aggregate, that's the word I was looking for. They filled the void of Parsons in the aggregate. Hey, the Circus Survivor documentary, it's heating up. This week's episode is called The Turning Point, and it's for good reason. Week 5, for the first time in Circus Survivor history, the number 1 pick of the week goes down in flames on a Thursday night. I had them. And the chaos that follows is unlike anything the contest has ever seen. By the time week 6 through 9 play out, the contenders separate from the pretenders, and the pressure gets very, very real. $18.7 million is on the line. Watch the next episode Wednesday at 9 p.m. Eastern on VSiN. If you need to catch up, episodes 1 and 2 available on YouTube. Just search for VSiN Live.
Brooks Austin on the program next. Film guy, which SEC team does he have ranked number 1 in the nation? And why are they not favored to win the league? We'll ask him coming up next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
College football here as we go out to the progressive guest line. Brooks Austin joins the program now. The Film Guy Network on YouTube does a great job dissecting film. Follow him on X at Brooks Austin BA. Brooks, thanks for the time today. How are you?
No doubt, gentlemen. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be out in Vegas on the airways, man. Don't get these West Coast opportunities very often. So I hope I do well for you, gentlemen.
Well, we'll get to your neck of the woods, SEC, coming up in a minute. But it is Big Ten Media Week ongoing. We've been talking about this conference obviously since Monday. I still like Indiana this year. A ton of people here at the network like Oregon. How do you think it's going to play out this year? Which team do you have as the best in that conference?
Yeah, I mean, we can talk about who's the most talented and who's the best on paper. That's Oregon, but that really hasn't meant a hill of beans since Kirk Cignetti has taken that job at Indiana. I am known as the film guy. I'm a guy who watches a ton of tape. And the more and more I watch Indiana, the more I sit there and scratch my head. Like most teams, I can figure them out. I can figure out why they're successful, whether it's be to schematics or whether it be to player individual talents and excellence at each position. But when I watch Indiana on tape, it doesn't really matter who's out there. They are the best coached football team that I've studied over the last 7 or 8 years. And I always find it at the line of scrimmage and what we call false steps, right? Like a guy taking the wrong step will get you beat at the line of scrimmage. I watched them throughout their playoff run, every single snap, particularly offensively. They don't take false steps. They do not make mistakes. They don't beat themselves. And they've really shrunk the math. Like used to, if you were under-talented, if you didn't have the Jimmies and the Joes that the other team did, you used to extrapolate the math. You used to try to take as many snaps as you possibly can, particularly offensively. That's not what Indiana does. In fact, they prefer to take under 60 snaps in each individual football game. They're trying to grind you out. They're trying to beat you with efficiency on a down-to-down basis because they're a better executing football team. So, yeah, I understand the Oregon hype. I think they're one of the best 2 rosters in all of college football. I would put them and Texas up at the top as a different level of echelon from a talent standpoint. But that's all negated by coaching and execution, and Indiana has done that ad nauseum for the last 2 years that Cignetti has been there. So, Mitch, I'm with you in a sense. Like, it doesn't really matter what it is on paper. Those guys get the most out of their football players on a week-to-week basis. And I like what they have, by the way, this year. I'm a big Josh Hoover guy. I'm a big Nick Marsh guy. They maintain basically everything in their core on both sides of the football. Their offensive line is pretty much intact from that 16-0 football team. Their defensive line is relatively intact from that football team a year ago. 2 of the 3 linebackers return, both safeties return. So it's like, how do you not like what they have? They brought both coordinators back. Oregon can't say that. Oregon lost both of them. So there's a lot to like out there in Indiana. As always, Ohio State is lingering with one of the most talented rosters in the sport. So it's that 3-headed monster in that conference. And the question is, for me this offseason and going into the year, is like, who is that 4th team? Is it USC? Michigan won 9 games last year with one of the most distracted football coaches in the history of college football. So now they actually have a football coach paying attention. Are they going to get better? You would assume that they are. So the question for me in the Big Ten is who is that 4th team? I know who the 3 are, and I know they're damn good.
Brooks, when it comes to the national title odds, Ohio State is your betting favorite. Even with everything you just said about Indiana and Oregon and all the contenders, Notre Dame's the second shot on the board. As far as those 2 at the top, how dangerous do they appear to you coming into this year? Because Ohio State's lost a lot in terms of defense from a year ago, and Notre Dame on the other end, they've got a chip on their shoulder, but plenty of pieces for them to kind of fill up.
Yeah, I mean, Ohio State lost a lot. That is correct. They lost a lot, but this is one of those halves. This is a football team that's never going to not have great talent 1 through 11 on the defensive side of the football. I look at their defensive in-room in particular. They have 4 NFL football players, in my opinion. Kenyatta Jackson, he's going to wear number 2 this year. He's elite. Bo Atkinson, the high-price transfer from North Carolina, he's still back. They brought Quay Rousseau over from Alabama, and I'm missing the 4th right there, number 9. He is an elite football player as well, a former 5-star recruit. Zion Grady, I think is his name. They have elite defensive line football players. They returned a linebacker last year. Everybody knows Arvell Reese and Sonny Styles are gone. Well, they had a linebacker last year in that room that had 65 tackles. He's back. Like, if you have 65 tackles with those 2 dudes, like, rotating in with you, you're pretty damn good in and of your own right? Like, you're a good football player as well. Love Devin Sanchez, the corner, former 5-star out of Florida as well. Like, they have plenty of talent on that side of the football. I don't really worry about that. I forget the other team that you mentioned.
Notre Dame.
Will you throw that back at me?
Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame. So offensively, they're going to be totally different than they've been in my adult lifetime, right? Like, they've always been a line of scrimmage, run the football, get into 3rd and 1. Like, let's just grind things out. CJ Carr is probably, I would put him in the top 3 for quarterbacks returning in college football. He is an elite talent. He is everything that you wanted him to be or is projected to be. I don't think particularly my area of the world, I don't think they're ready for the media buzz that's about to be, wait a minute, Notre Dame's got a 1st-round quarterback talent. Like, that dude is going to get talked about more than probably any quarterback in college football not named Arch Manning this year. And he is worth all of that. They're so good up front on the offensive line that I don't really worry about the losses that they've obviously had 2 first-rounders go out of the running back room. They're still going to be able to run the football. I think the difference this year is they're going to threaten people and scare people with their passing attack for really the first time since Brady Quinn, like first time since, I don't know, maybe the early aughts. Like it's been a long time since Notre Dame can line up and maybe score 40 in any given football game against good defenses. And they're going to get there. Like they're going to be a playoff team. It's a 2-game schedule. It's at BYU and it's Miami at home November 11th. And they're going to be all right. Like they're going to get 11-1 out of that schedule, bare minimum, I would imagine. So they're going to be a playoff team. My question is, when they get there, are they ready to face 4, wars back to back to back to back, which is what it requires nowadays. Like you got to maintain health. You got to maintain the ability to execute on a week-to-week basis, almost like a month-to-month basis with the dumb college football schedule that we have. They're going to get plenty of time off in between playoff games. But no, the hype for Notre Dame is warranted this year. Again, people in my region of the country are always ready to doubt Notre Dame and throw shots at their schedule, which, by the way, their schedule is not great, but ESPN's FPI has it as the 42nd, I think, ranked schedule in all of college football, which, I mean, there's worse. Like, I think Penn State's at 62, Texas Tech's at 71. Like, Texas Tech plays slap nobody. Yeah. So there are worse schedules out there. And, Notre Dame's one of the better football teams on paper. Defensively, Marcus Freeman, man, like he is a defensive-minded guy. That's what his background is. He was a linebacker at Ohio State, defense coordinator at Cincinnati before he took the head coaching job at Notre Dame. They coach it up right on the defensive side of the football over there. They're always going to be sound.
Very good. Follow the money here on VSiN, the Sports Betting Network. Brooks Austin, our guest, the Film Guy Network on YouTube. He's on the Progressive Guest Line. Brooks, a couple minutes left here. Your number one team or best team in the SEC is which program this year?
Yeah, on paper, it's Texas. But I do think we're shaping up, at least preseason. I think it's probably going to be Texas and Georgia meeting up in the SEC championship game in Atlanta, which means Georgia's probably going to win the SEC for the 3rd straight year, if that happens. Because if you've watched those games the last 3 times that they've played, Georgia's put them in a box that they can't get up out of. They cannot run the football against Georgia, despite, I mean, they're tremendously talented guys. They probably have the most expensive roster in all of college football, which nowadays equates to talent, both on offense and defense. So, and obviously I'm an Arch Manning believer, despite what some people might think about his first 5 or 6 game performances last year. I thought he did exceptional stuff from the pocket last year that wasn't all that clean, and they've revamped all of that. But no, if it ends up being Georgia and Texas in the SEC championship game, I'll lean Georgia, because until you do it, I'm not picking you to do it. But they are on paper the best team in this conference.
By the way, am I allowed to have the opinion that I personally need to see much more from Arch Manning first?
No, but look, man, he didn't have a lot of help around him last year, Mitch. Like I called him a pincushion. I mean, he was getting hit left and right, and they just could not protect him. They also, I didn't think, did enough conceptually to get him hots, to get him answers early in the progression of plays, which made him hold the ball a little bit longer. Also, he did have offseason foot surgery this year. It was very underreported that he played all year last year with a ligament wrong in his foot that required surgery this offseason. So I expect a fully healthy Arch Manning, and I expect a Texas offensive line that was rebuilt with an all-ACC player in Melvin Siani, an all-mid-conference player from Western Kentucky at left guard. They're going to be better. They brought Gooseby back at left tackle. They got a 17th-year senior coming back at center. They should be able to protect him a lot better. And Lord knows they spent enough at the wide receiver position. I don't know if there's a 3-headed monster better than what Texas has at the weaponry department between Emmett Mosley, Ryan Wingo, and the new purchase of Cam Coleman.
Yeah. Hey, Brooks, dynamite spot. Thanks so much for the time today. We really appreciate that.
No doubt.
Check him out. The Film Guy Network on YouTube, at Brooks Austin BA on X as well. Feedback from VSiN Pro subscriber Mark says this feature at VSiN already paid for his subscription. Find out which feature and how Mark is crushing it next.
This is Follow the Money on VSiN.
We'll get some NFL futures with a longtime friend of the show, NFL bettor and handicapper Adam Chernoff, coming up at the top of the hour. Always worthwhile when you're a VSiN Pro subscriber. If you're not, definitely check into it. Go to VSiN.com/subscribe, checking out the VSiN Daily from Bill 80 every single day. We told you about there was a viewer named Frank who was crushing it with Steve Makinen's bullpen systems this year. And he did a tweak to it, and he was up like 26 units doing it, and it pays off every single year following that lead from Makinen. This is from VSiN viewer Mark. And Bill has been putting in the new VSiN Volt and VSiN Jolt, and the bets are also on the VSiN picks page as well. It's basically AI picks that we're doing here. And Mark sent an email that said, I just want to thank you for adding new features to help our handicapping. I've been using Volt, and it has already paid for my 2-year extension I signed up for 2 weeks ago. Only thing I do differently with Volt is if there are 2 players, I parlay them and play them individually. Haven't lost in 2 weeks. VSiN Volt identifies value on MLB totals. Jolt identifies value on MLB player props. So we have a couple today. I'll give them to you. But again, go check it out. VSiN.com/subscribe today. Volt's plays Pirates Reds tonight. An 8.6 edge to the under 9.5 runs in the game. And the other bet that it likes via the model, a smaller edge, but the Nationals and Braves tonight under 9.5 runs as well.
I think on my math on Volt, it was on a 14-5 run until yesterday.
It was crushing it until yesterday. That's correct.
But it's still 15-9 on totals. So we're not talking about laying minus $1.40, $1.50 here. The 2 bets tonight, minus 102 and minus 108. And the thing I like is it tells you the edge. I want to know the confidence, right? Don't you hate when someone asks you, hey, what do you like tonight?
Of course.
I like this to go, well, how much do you like it? I'm like, well, I can't quantify it. This tells you how much it likes it.
That's exactly right. Now, Jolt, on the flip side, it was blazing hot a while back. It's cooled down a little bit, but again, it's a long season. Their number one edge today, in fact, it was a 41.9% edge, was Bailey Ober over strikeouts. That did not get there. They had over 4.5 and suggested plus 125. Other bets that they have tonight, Willie Abreu under 2.5 hits, runs, and RBIs, minus 131. And Robbie Ray earned runs under 2.5 with a 41.7% edge at minus 106. McClanahan, they actually had another bet today. It was hits over allowed, but that was a loser because he got hurt and he left the game.
Yeah, well, that certainly throws a wrinkle into this Tarek Skubal situation with wherever he's at. He left with mid-back tightness. So it's not arm-related, but you never know how long the back stuff's going to linger. Just ask Paulie Howard. I mean,
it's been his entire life, I think.
So that is an issue.
I'm not joking. I mean, he's got a bad back.
No, but the reference here is you always remember, right? We got these betting tips that are coming out on the radio. You hear them on Sirius XM and whatnot. One of mine was, remember when you place a prop bet, there's always more working in favor of the under than the over.
No doubt.
And injuries is one of those things.
I found that out firsthand last night. I had a bunch of prop bets, and I think one was a winner, and the others were all losers.
But then but here's the thing. Go try and identify the unders. Probably the hardest thing to figure out, because we're also fantasy brained.
Of course, 1,000%.
We're all, this is the matchup I like.
Yeah, that can help, but also hurt at the same time occasionally, because the fantasy brain, I think, identifies positive outcomes quicker than anything else.
Yes.
And I don't know, and I don't think I'm the Lone Ranger here. You drift that way with your thoughts all the time. Because, I mean, we're in fantasy baseball. We're in a league together.
Yeah, I'm doing horrible.
I'm in second place.
Yeah, let's make a trade. I got some guys for you.
I have a pending trade offer right now from somebody in the league. I have to give up my number 1 pick next year, though, for it.
Hey, what did we just say about the Brewers?
Well, this is a little bit different, but by the way, a winner today on VSiN Jolt was Michael Busch, total bases, 1.5 over plus 120. He got there.
See, I like guys who just are so dominant against one side, right? Lefties who kill right-handed pitching, righties who kill lefties. That's usually who I'm looking for in a lot of situations for a lot of these props. Volt is the best. I didn't know what it was when it started appearing on the picks page. There was a point where Volt and Jolt were 1 and 2 on the picks page for 10 straight days.
Oh yeah,
I was like, the computers are beating us. It's absolutely killing me.
It's already happening. The computers are beating all of us into submission. Can you please dial it down just a little bit, or somebody else needs to step their game up as well?
Well, speaking of, how much do you use AI?
Quite a bit.
I've started to, and I'm fine. Like, it's not as simple as people think. Like, oh, you just asked AI.
No, it's not. You got to work with it.
I like having the conversation with. I do it with the golf because I don't know golf.
That's exactly what I do it with.
And I go, all right, what are we looking at in the course? What types of golfers? Who fits this mold? But if we're really going to tweak and focus on this, so it's essentially creating your own little
model, however you want it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. And then I send them some stats over that I think are probably big for that week, and then I also include like a different. I send them over like 2 different sports books with the odds, and it spits back just tons of info based on what you're going to talk to it about and how the dialogue that you create. But it's fun.
No, here's my arrogance. I don't ever ask it about things I think I know. I never go, what do you think about baseball today? I never go, when I'm getting my butt kicked.
Right. Need a little help here, pal. Can you spit me out a winner, please?
Well,
That'd be nice.
You know who needs help? The Minnesota Vikings at quarterback this year. And they've turned their attention to Kyler Murray, Mitch. This clip I thought was pretty interesting that I saw earlier today. You're a big Kevin O'Connell guy.
I am.
I'm a huge Kevin O'Connell guy. And if he believes in a quarterback, I believe in a quarterback. And he was asked when he went on, is it Get Up Football? What's the show? Morning Football? It's all the same show. Good Morning Football on NFL Network. Get Up McAfee? No. And Kevin O'Connell was asked by Kyle Brandt about, the way they're toying with J.J. McCarthy, and he was a former first-round pick, now battling for his job, what it could do to J.J. McCarthy. Here's what Kevin O'Connell had to say about it.
I would just say, from our standpoint, and really the dialogue that I have with J.J. daily is he's still a very young player in this league. Even the level of I wouldn't even say scrutiny, but even the tone of the question kind of falls under the category of we want to let him develop and we want to let him continue to grow, and we ultimately want to have him be a guy that can be in a position to help us win football games. But in retrospect, at the same time, many times we're saying we want that right now. And I believe he's a young, talented player with a ton of upside in front of him. And, we can't go backwards and change the past of maybe some of that development time that was lost either in year one or, after getting off to a good start, winning a divisional game on the road against the team that won the division in week 1 last year. He gets hurt and misses some time. And that is not anybody's fault. That's part of the game. That's part of what every team in this league goes through and what every player in this league goes through. So now what we're trying to do is just make sure, always being mindful of his individual development, where we think he is at and how we can help get him to a place through competition that will be a really good outcome for JJ and the Minnesota Vikings. And it's my job to make sure that we're always doing what we think is best to win football games. And we feel like we have a really talented team. We feel like we have a team with a ton of upside to compete in a really, really difficult division. And we want that across our whole team, and it's not just the quarterback position as we move through training camp.
Holy smokes.
They hate J.J. McCarthy.
That's what I got from it.
A lot of he said development twice.
Yeah.
We're entering year 3.
Well, he did not. He absolutely did not want J.J. McCarthy drafted.
No, there's an alternate universe. I always think about like the Marvel universe. There's so many different outcomes. There is a universe where they hang on to Sam Darnold and they're running roughshod through the NFC year after year.
I mean, honestly, if they kept him as their quarterback last year, how does that change the entire landscape of what took place?
Well, yes, Seattle doesn't win a Super Bowl.
They don't win the Super Bowl. Do the Rams win it? Do the Vikings win 13 games?
That defense was still awesome last year.
Oh, for sure. No doubt.
But based on what I got from that, J.J. McCarthy has no shot of winning this award.
I don't think... Well, KOC does not want him to play at all.
No, he does. It's embarrassing for him. It's beneath him. It makes his offense look remedial. Do you know what it takes for us to be saying Kyler Murray is going to make this offense look advanced?
See, that does take a lot for me to say because I am not a Kyler Murray guy at all.
It's tough.
However, I want to get there with them this year with the combo now of because I do look, we can't forget what KOC did a couple years ago.
I mean, he won with Josh Dobbs, who got off a plane like 12 hours before the game.
That's correct. And they're actually on the same. Dobbs is like some sort of like wonder kid.
Yeah, he's a genius.
He's an absolute genius, right? So if he picked it up quickly, but he's never been a great NFL player.
No,
ever. He came to Minnesota like that second, and all of a sudden it's clicking, and they're making it work. Like I have to kind of. Is it possible that McCarthy's just that bad?
Yes.
I think yes, it is.
Yes, you know what it is? J.J. McCarthy, it's not his fault. He was a 5-star. He's a superstar athlete.
Right.
He's a very athletic player. He went to a place in Michigan that didn't need him to be special.
Yep.
They needed him to be smart. And because of that, he only had to make 1-2 throws a game. And he wasn't in a lot of close games either because they knew all the signs of the other team. That
also helped for sure. Now, here's the thing. I liked the Vikings a lot last year because I trusted KOC to make it work with McCarthy.
I am back and forth where I think this might be a playoff team. I think this might be a team that can advance deep into the playoffs. I also think it's a team that might win 5 games, 6 games.
We'll continue talking NFL. Up next, longtime friend of the show, veteran handicapper Adam Chernoff. He's got a Super Bowl winner, division bet, CFL future as well next year on VSiN.